Hi y'all. Been a long time. I sure do like making videos for y'all, but I've been really busy. Also got a little sick, let my guard down and let the plague get me. And it wasn't terrible, but it's lasting, it's lingering. My stamina's gone and I feel like the old man that I am. But I wanted to share with you how the creek project is turning out. We haven't gotten any rain yet of any real substance, but you remember that first video I did where it was just gravel and a few puddles? And the second video I did where it was starting to come into a pond? And all we had to do was get rid of the gravel and it just filled up. And oh, Rona's gonna go crazy. There's a buzzard flying and Rona chases those. Oh, come on, Rona, catch that buzzard. So this is the way it turned out so far. Now you can see the natural water level is about 3.5, 4 feet deeper than this. So this is pretty deep as it is already, 3 or 4 feet, depending on where you are. And the water is getting pretty clear. And so I think we can count on, in normal times when we start getting rain again, I think we can count on 7 or 8 feet deep. You can see all the way down to the bottom. It's rather clear. At least until Rona goes swimming and stirs it up. But you can see the rows of rock under the ground, and that's about 3 feet deep to the high point and about 4 feet deep to the low point where you see those little stripes of rock. And we've got these beautiful sycamore trees that are being sustained by the creek. We're in the middle of another little project where we've got a well there that pumps water up from the creek, and that's one of our water sources. And this will be where you enter the water. The water's usually up right around the level of this rock ledge when it's raining, and we've got a little ramp going down, and then it's going to get real deep here. This will be 8 or 9 feet deep right here where we can dive in off of this rock ledge. So it's very lovely. The pond upstream is only 2 or 3 feet deep, and that's the level that it is all the time, whether it's raining or not, unless we're flooding. I want to show you the trail that we built. We've cut some steps in. We use a tool called a rogue hoe, and I fully intended to bring it with me and show you, but let me show you how we build these trails. When you're building these trails, you never want to build a trail where the trail runs down the hill, because the water will run down the trail and it'll make ruts. You want the trails to run across the slope so the water comes. You chop down. You never build up a trail because it'll just wash and it never gets hard. You chop down the trail and then you make a 3 or 4 degree slope across the trail. I like to do about a 3 degree slope across the trail so the water continues to run downhill, but it's not so steep that you can't walk on it easily, and then drop off again. So we cut steps in, and when the water level's up, the water will be up, much closer to us here. And this, oh, look at that, isn't that beautiful? I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the video as beautiful as it looks, but trust me, the color and clarity is just amazing. Now, I know up in the far north, the water becomes crystal clear, but for central Texas, where the water is usually just a murky green, This is just a jewel. You can just see right down into that water. I've already been swimming in it, and it's going to be really, really fine for scuba diving. My friend has been swimming and just loved it. This trail is going to make access down here very nice. Can you see these steps? How nicely they're cut in. Very comfortable, and then we placed a couple of rocks to continue the steps. And then when the water levels up, this will be very close to the water level. It'll be right up to here. And oh, isn't that gorgeous? It's just so lovely. Very happy with the way this turned out. Turned out nicer than I even imagined. Now the causeway that we worked on made it a little nicer than we planned originally. We just went ahead and did a nicer job. Right now, we're not connected to the downstream water. When the water's about 9 inches deeper, it'll overtop this little cut through. The main channel, the normal main channel is along this side over here, and the water will run through here, and then this, in normal periods, this causeway will be about 2 feet out of the water, or 1.5 feet out of the water. And it's built with the rock that was dug from here and a little bit from the other side. And then we found a nice patch of fine gravel, and I went ahead and took the tractor and put a small layer of fine gravel. Hi Rona, you want to stir up the water over here? Rona goes swimming 2 or 3 times a day. And sometimes the water over here is crystal clear, and other times it gets a little cloudy, and what that is there's a big fish that comes up here and goes hunting, and he stirs it all up, kind of like Rona has done here. But this creek just heads on down, and there's another big swimming place on the next property down, and they have a dam that establishes the normal water depth up here. When that dam is full and just slightly overtopping, this water will be about 3.5, 4 feet deeper, and it'll bring it right up about to the top of that rock ledge. That rock ledge will be about maybe 6 inches out of the water, and some places even with the water, depending on, you know, where the high and low spots are. We brought a couple of big rocks here that we found and made a couple of seats, and the sun goes down right here, so looking into the sunset from this end. This causeway is got the channel. It's, I know depth perception's a little challenging on these videos, but it looks like 6 to 9 inches, and it's going to start to contribute to this water downstream. And this water downstream is down about 1.5 feet or so. If you go down to where the dam is, the dam's about 5 feet above this water level. So that's why I'm thinking this will be about 4 feet deeper. I'm wearing polarized lenses. I think that you can probably see down into this water pretty well, but it's very clear, and it's almost swimming pool clear, especially down on this end. We've got a little breeze. It's, you know, the breeze blows the leaves one way or the other, and eventually when it starts to overtop, all the leaves that are sitting on the top of the water will clear across the little Causeway inlet and clean this all up. Here's our trail. And then on this side, we created what's going to be another swimming hole. This will be about 5 feet deeper when the water level's up. So all of this will be underwater. All of this gravel here, everything here will be underwater. And you can see on the rock down there where the color change is, where that, can I do this? Where that gray rock is, everything below that line, where it's yellow or white, that's how deep the water is typically, most of the time. And so this will be a nice, on this side of the causeway will be a nice swimming hole that you'll be able to come through the inlet. And then we've created a little ramp right here that you can walk up to get on top of the causeway. And normally this causeway will only be 1.5 feet or so out of the water. And then there's a way to drive the four-wheeler. Go, Rona, go. There's a way to drive the four-wheeler down onto the causeway, and this will be a nice place to sit and relax. Mostly you'll just walk, but if you want to have a nice party out here, you can use the four-wheeler to transport things. And then the last thing we did, this area over here hasn't been cut or grazed. It can't really be grazed because there's no fence across the creek, so cattle left on this side would be able to wander up and down the creek. And so it hasn't been grazed and it hasn't been cut in many years. So the last thing we did was cleaned it up and cut it about 8 inches because it has this tall dead grass, which every once in a while, not every year, but every once in a while, this should get cut so that the underlying grass and soil can get a little sunshine on it. And this spring, this will be a big flush of fresh green grass. And you could do a really good job by burning this off, but there's not an easy way of doing that over here because there aren't good ways to stop it, to limit it. So we've put a few little trails in just by dragging the land plane behind the tractor. And this didn't really take a long time. All this work on this area took a couple of days. We cleared a lot of cedar and mesquite and left a lot of oaks and some cedar and mesquite and yaupon. We left a lot of that. We cleaned up a lot of the flood debris that had washed up against the pecan trees, and it was kind of damaging to them. I can show you a little bit of the scarring that happened. Like this pecan tree, you know, the water was, you know, the creek is way down there, but the water during the flood was 10 feet deeper than where I'm standing. And you can see it caught up against this pecan tree and broke the trunk of it with all that. And all that debris that was up against it that broke that trunk was still there. And so we cleaned that up, and we left some, but we cleaned that up off of the off the pecan trees. Go, Rona, go. Where's the bird? Where's the bird? So that's what I wanted to show you. I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to show you. I will tell you, I made a really nice video for y'all. I acquired a lot of used solar panels that were from some houses that had hail damage, and they took the solar panels off to repair the roof. The solar panels were not broken, and they took the solar panels off to repair the roof. And I did a video on all the different things that you can find in used panels and what you can fix and what you can't fix, and what the different things that, like the snail tracks and all those things that happen, how they can affect the production of the solar panels and what the solar panels like that cost, which is, you know, very, very low. I mean, 1/10 of the cost of new panels. And so I'll be using those on the, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be using those on the new solar arrays, the ground-based solar arrays that I'm building. One of the things that I've done while I haven't been making videos is I bought a lot of, got the sun in your eye, sorry. I bought a lot of welding equipment. I'm, you know, a wood guy by nature, and I've always been reluctant to get into welding because everything I get into, I kind of have to take it to another level. But it's hard to find good welders these days that are available, and I keep finding more and more need for welding. And so I decided to go ahead and buy the equipment and learn, and so that's what I've been doing. I bought the equipment, I bought some steel for building some ground-based solar panel arrays, and I'm going to be using the used panels that I refurbished. And the video I did was how to repair the wires and how to test them. It's pretty deep. How to test them for their production, and how to reject some that have problems, and what that looks like, and I went through that whole thing, and I'll be darned, the battery in my microphone wasn't charged well enough, and I ended up with no audio on the video. And so I had already done all the work by the time I figured that out, and so that video's lost. I will cover it a little bit when I do some videos showing how I'm going to build the ground-based arrays, how I'm going to do the welding and build those. Got a pretty simple plan that makes it rather easy to do. Even though steel is expensive, it's much less expensive to do what I'm doing than if you were to buy like a kit, you know, parts. Most of these ground-based arrays are built from kits that they basically take parts and cut it to length for you, and then you still have to do most of the work, but they round up the parts for you, and then they charge you a big markup on the material. I managed to go find the material from a wholesale supplier and got it for the least cost, and then I'll do an expansion on the existing array. I'll add 24 more panels probably in the 250 watt range, and then I'm going to build a new array that will also be DC coupled, and that one will probably be 24 panels in the 240 watt range. So we'll have some serious capacity, far more than we need to be net zero annually, but enough that we can get through these periods where we have bad weather, cloudy days, rainy days for periods of time, so that our battery system will sustain us, and we won't have to fire up the generator. But mostly we just believe in, hey Rona, mostly we just believe in having as much capacity and resilience and robustness as possible. And then if you have a problem with one section of your array, you're still doing fine. You don't have any problems with it. So Rona and I are going to get back to work. I'm doing an art studio right now for my friend. Just took a break. I'm installing the cabinets, and I just took a break to come down here and make a video for you because it's been a month, and I just feel terrible about it. I think I'm going to be able to do one or two more before I leave the country again and go scuba diving. I hope this video finds y'all well and in the middle of building your great projects. I've got a lot gonna happen after Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. I've got a lot that's gonna happen after that. Before then, I'm just gonna try to get a few of these projects that are non-solar related taken care of so that my painter can take off and get busy finishing out the art studio. And I've been working on a lot of things that don't make good videos for y'all. I mean, repairing roads and cutting brush and cutting grass and clearing pastures and taking cows to market and ranching stuff that y'all don't really care much about. Buying and practicing welding and getting my technique down so that I can start doing some stuff. I've got a cattle guard to repair, and there's just a lot of ranch stuff that needs to be done, and it doesn't make good videos for y'all. So I really wish I hadn't lost that used solar panel array. This one's getting long. I'm going to let it go now. I've just been missing y'all, and look forward to talking to you in the comments, and we'll see you on the next one. I hope it's not long. Bye-bye. My goodness. So lovely.